rideshare driver that drives for Uber and Lyft. Joe currently uses multiple phones to efficiently drive for Uber and Lyft. But this can be a pain at times and very unsafe. That was until Joe found Maximo, the rideshare app that automates Uber and Lyft ride requests. Maximo will use the filters set by Joe, like time, distance, and passenger rating, to determine which rides are best suited for Joe. When a ride request comes in, Joe doesn't need to worry. Maximo will automatically accept the ride request that matches his filters, and then turn off the app that isn't currently on a ride. Once Joe finishes the ride, Maximo will turn everything back on. This will allow Joe to focus more on his passengers and driving safe.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Thursday Gig Economy Rodeo Roundtable. Happy to have Kim's Side Money Plans right next to me. And on the other side, Hannibal is hungry. And below me, John Dash Theory TV. And next to him, GaryZapps.com. And, glad everybody's here this week.
Trying to figure out the pointing tonight.
Oh, man. You guys, I'm a little under the weather. But I probably couldn't point. Even if I did it once, I'd just keep doing the same thing and wondering why it's not working. So that's the kind of night it is. But I'm gonna pull through. So hello everybody. Hello everybody. So tonight we have a giveaway. Next week we have a giveaway that Gary's been sponsoring of $25. We do $25 winners a week, and then at next week is the last week before Thanksgiving. There will be one $25 winner, and then of those, 6 that have won will be in a drawing for a $100 win. So somebody could win 20. Somebody will win 25 next week, but that person could also win 100, and so could the other 5 winners, which so far have been and Hannibal, you have to, maybe you'll know this. JP's what corner? What is his name?
Shoot, I don't have a great memory.
Gig corner? Isn't it JP's gig corner?
It could be gig, and I thought it was the obvious answer. So
For some reason, I didn't think it was, but okay, I'll believe you guys.
I think it is gig corner. Yeah.
Okay. So, and then we had Real Rideshare Stories, which of course is Chris, Tommy Sison, and Pia Broderick have all been our 4 winners so far. So we'll have a winner tonight, and then we'll have a winner next week.
When we see Pia, they did not email me yet.
No. Pia's always around.
Pia, if you're listening, get in the chat and let us know, because you need to do that, because you're in for you're owed 25, and you're in for the 100 next week too. So, Steve, go rest the Fab Four. Got it. Thanks, Thomas.
I like how he called us the Fab Four. Leave you out of it.
He calls it Fab Five now. He used to call us Fab Four, and it's been Fab Five since John's joined us. And now it's the Fab Four. Oh, yeah, JP's gig corner. There he is.
We're very flexible. It's a flexible number. JP's gig corner. There they are.
Yeah. So hopefully everybody followed that. If at any point tonight I say anything and it sounds like my brain's having a major fever, anybody on this panel can just jump in and correct me, because I don't want to spit out wrong information. So the other thing before we get into this, I want to mention to everybody that Kim has an article out. And Gary's going to post it in the chat. She's doing some blog posts for Moves Financial. I do a few for him too, and now Kim is as well. I haven't read it yet. She told me today, so like as soon as it's done, maybe in the morning because of my head, but maybe tonight. I'm going to go take a look because I'm excited. I want to see how Kim writes. I don't think I've ever seen her writing.
I'm excited
before.
too. I'm gonna check it out.
That's what I like about people writing. Writing is a whole style. You get to see different writer styles. Everyone look at that article too.
No pressure. No pressure.
Not at all.
Don't worry, Kim. We're just all gonna judge you.
Judge away. It's all good. Just know that this is the first time I've written probably since like college. So it was
I'm
definitely
sure it's like
interesting.
everything you do, and it's great. So
Aw, thank you.
Hey, Steve, what you should do, print it out, highlight it in red markers and stuff, and send it to her.
no, well, so Kim knows like the Moves blog is pretty the way like I've written for other blogs too. Moves is way more professional than any other blog I've ever written for. They're very helpful. They send you a sheet, they send you the terms you need to use. If you can link to this, they give you all your links. They give you articles that they pulled information on the topic on. So to compare
Very
those,
helpful.
like read those articles and kind of work. They want you to kind of hit on that stuff a little bit too. They're definitely all about keywording and stuff like that. So it's a great learning experience, but it makes it pretty easy to go through and write something. But they will send back edits if needed. Kim didn't get back an edit on her first one, so
Oh, that's cool.
I was
That's pretty
expecting like the whole
volumes.
sheet to be like red, but honestly, the Moves team is fantastic and they make you look fantastic too. So kudos
Yep.
to the Moves team because they're definitely some professional and amazing people.
yeah, I snapped at Alwyn a little bit because I told him, I'm like, why in the world does Kim have a Move shirt and I don't? I said all summer, but I said in your face too, because all summer I could have been promoting it.
And believe it or not, their t-shirts are really soft and wonderful. So get after them for those t-shirts.
Okay, well,
they're
you know
great.
what, guys, I wore dumpling t-shirts all summer because I didn't get. Now he's sending me a whole thing of it. Okay,
Good.
Like a whole package. Hat,
he's like, I
t-shirt.
think it's because I didn't have your phone number. I'm like, yeah, you did. We've talked on the phone at least 3 times. He's like, oh, is it this number? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, oh, because I need that for customs because they're in Canada. So I guess without a phone number. And he didn't think we had
okay.
communicated via phone. And so I was like, yeah, we have a lot.
Or,
Yeah.
you know,
It was a very nice. It's a very nice care package that they sent. So thank you, Moves.
Most of the
They
companies
really
send
support
nice
me.
ones, yeah. But some the quality isn't as nice and whatnot. Nicest stuff I've ever had, seen, felt, worn is dumplings, hands down. No offense to any other company because I've gotten a lot of apparel, but hands
It's like
down.
that cotton polyester blend type material.
It's just that top end stuff that like you're like, dude, this is like the $45 stuff, the
Yeah, it's
$50
pretty good.
stuff.
Nice.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Hannibal, did he got you some, right? Did he get it?
Yeah,
to you?
I got like
Okay.
like a I don't know what you call it. Like it's a hoodie, but it's not like
Lightweight.
a light hoodie. I work out in it. Well,
Yeah.
when I actually go out and work out, but when I
Yeah.
do, I put it on. It's really nice.
Yeah, even a short sleeve shirts, anything of theirs is really comfy. So, hats off to the companies who do good apparel because it's worth it. Once you're going to do apparel, why not? You're not making money on apparel anyway, so make
Sometimes,
it nice.
Steve, you have like multiple companies on you, like a NASCAR driver. You got like a one hat says dumpling, a solo shirt patch.
I should
You
use
should
that
just wrap
Ricky
your.
Bobby scene where he uses even the windshield.
You should wrap your car at this point.
Right?
That's what I'm saying. Like, when Ricky Bobby and Talladega Nights uses the windshield,
yeah.
and he's even using that for sponsorship space.
Yeah.
Until he finally gets to, who's me? What's me? That's you. Oh.
That's a classic movie.
Yeah. So let me run through this real quick and we'll jump in, you guys. What's up, Giggity? What's up, Music City? And I'm already seeing a few who were at the Tuesday live stream I did with Lou and Mary. Hope you guys all enjoyed that.
That was a really awesome show.
Yeah, I saw you. Were you there for long? I saw you there kind of near the middle or endish.
I was there when I was doing some cooking and doing the HelloFresh thing and so I was in and out of it.
Yeah. I love doing stuff with those guys. They're so much fun. And Lou's poker stories are just wild. I love the backstage. Like I told him I wanted to record the backstage stuff and talk about some of that. But what's up, Rodney? What's up, Traditional IC? Hi, Thomas. Rideshare Road Warrior Rick. What's up, Bobby? What's up, JP? And Rideshare Lisa, how are you? I just saw you over at Brandon's thing as I was getting set up. And I think I'm getting everybody. You guys, my eyes are just horrible tonight. It's just because of how I'm feeling, but I think I gotcha. Let's go with it. So Gary's saying if I'd missed you, tough, but
Yeah.
So here we go.
Life.
Being first, you're last.
So let's see. So I put a ton of stories out just because I was so spaced that I wanted to make sure that we had enough to cover, and they're all great stories, to be honest. But maybe Gary, why don't we start with yours, since Gary came up with his own, sent it to me, kind of a random one, and I was like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, well, because we don't talk about Amazon Flex a lot or Amazon at all unless it's compared to food delivery like Grubhub or something like that. And so, but once we did talk about Amazon, and we all had our thoughts about what they would be doing in the future, since they are getting into Grubhub stuff. They are actually now starting to do retail shopping pickups. So it says Amazon Flex is launching a new offer type near you. Retail delivery offers are available. Will allow you to pick up and deliver prepackaged orders directly from non-Amazon retail stores in local shopping centers. So now, that's what we're going to be doing on Amazon. Yeah.
Delivering couches like DoorDash.
I don't know. I've actually had my Amazon app going all day today. I got Flex Alert to tell me if one pops up, but it's been running all day and I haven't seen one yet. So I'm curious to see, because their regular offers, like their Whole Foods pay like $15 an hour, and then their regular warehouse blocks pay $15 to $18 per hour. And so I'm curious to know, what's the payout going to be like? Like if I have to go down to like Macy's and pick something up, it's in the mall. Like what's that going to pay me? Time, distance, or how are they structuring that? Because it doesn't say any pay on here at all.
I've been on a wait list for Amazon for a year now. Actually, maybe over a year. So I can't even tell you what it's going to even look like.
You want me to tell you?
I kind of want to say, I want to know, because I'm like dying to get on Amazon Flex, and I've been waitlisted.
I mean, if we all took a guess, I'll take a guess at how it might look. Is that, first of all, its timing is right before the holidays, so maybe it's going to be like this thing, like all apps, and like Spark was, how it just comes out paying really nicely. See how the holidays go, then reevaluate.
Yeah.
And then,
so it might be like a $20 order and then go to like $6.
Yeah, but when I think about it, I don't think of like somebody needing retail delivered to their door in a hurry. Like, oh, I need this pair of shoes in 1 hour from Macy's. I mean, if I need a shoes or something really quickly, I'm going to go to I will go to Walmart. I'll go to Target and get that real quick if I really need it.
Right.
I think
that's what I'm wondering.
Where you live, though, if you are that, I feel like where I live, people would be that interested to get things as fast as possible. I guess it depends on where you are. Like, I need these pair of shoes, or I need this retail item. So definitely, it would definitely be like where you live and how, I guess, crazy your customers are for, instant gratification for things.
And that's true. I mean, yeah, they'd be getting ready to go to a Christmas party, getting ready to go to a holiday event, and yeah.
Oh, do you guys think they're going to be like same day deliveries?
I mean, that's what I think of. Yeah.
Yeah. What else would you be doing?
So kind of taken off of like the UPS, USPS, buy out of them. Otherwise,
it could be good the last week before Christmas when people are in panic mode because they're like, "Oh my God, I only have 3 more days before Christmas." It might be a good thing during that time.
Could you imagine picking up from a retail store on Black Friday?
Well, see, I'm wondering when you said things like Macy's and stuff, I'm wondering too if that means like kind of like a lot of the Curry stuff I do, like loading dock pickup.
Yeah.
Like you don't even have to really do anything. You're just going to the loading dock. You're not really even going in.
Well, I mean, it actually says in here that you'll be going into like customer service to pick them up. Like each store will have their designated area, kind of like Walmart does.
I mean,
Yeah.
we're talking
Okay.
like, well, it's been 3 or 4 years since I've actually been in the retail, but Black Friday itself, we cut off what we call Omni, which is, pickup and stuff like that. We cut it off on Black Friday, but let the orders come in and then we fulfilled them the day after Black Friday. So that way there was no, it was all about like being in the retail part of it opposed to Omni as well. I mean, things could have completely changed.
Yeah, I mean, if I feel like for Black Friday nowadays, people do, the pre-sale thing where they, reserve stuff and they go and pick it up, and then they go buy more stuff and they go pick it up.
I do Cyber Monday. That's what I do.
Yeah,
I love Cyber Monday.
Yeah.
As far as I know, I thought that Black Friday had kind of like last year. I almost feel like it didn't really happen.
Well, over the years,
I can't remember what it was exactly that made me think that.
No, it did happen. What a lot of them are doing now is though they're starting it on Thursday after 5 p.m.
It depends on the retailer. It really depends. There was still a lot of retailers, like when the pandemic happened, they were all about family. We're not working Thanksgiving any longer. Last year, nobody was open on Thanksgiving, which I thought was the best thing ever, because there's nothing worse than like eating real quick and going, okay, I have to go to work. Eating real quick, I have to go to work. Like that happened every single year. So I was really happy for retail in general when that happened last year. I haven't heard around my area many retailers that are opening up on Thanksgiving. So I don't know. I think some of them are still closed on Thanksgiving and waiting until granted, they might be opening up at 3 or 4 o'clock on Friday, but at least they're still waiting.
Right.
Yeah. I think they don't really have those big deals as much, like the those doorbuster deals that people are going for. Or those it used to be like the big TVs for like $100 or $200 or something.
That's
Nowadays, TVs are so cheap, anyways. I mean,
that's Walmart this week. I
running out
Walmart.
of TVs.
Yeah, I worked at Walmart yesterday, the Spark, and I can't tell you, like they had so many 55-inch screen TVs just lined up and like loading them into cars. I don't even know what the deal was, but they were going out like car
I've been getting these little pings in my area for these deals for days things, so that must be what it is. Some deals for TVs apparently.
Yeah,
TVs are actually, like Music City Gig Hustler says, TVs are getting like severely cheap. I mean, you can go get 75-inch for like $400.
Yeah,
it's getting a little ridiculous. The next thing I want to touch on with the Amazon real quick before we move on to somebody else's story is they're actually coming out with a debit card as well now. So they actually have their own Amazon Flex Visa debit card that Flex drivers can get, and then they'll of course backed by Green Dot like a lot of the other cards are, and no monthly fees, convenience, earnings, blah blah blah. And then their cash back, they're actually giving you 6% on cash back.
So for a card like that, do you have to like transfer the money you earn to another account, or is it like as soon as you earn it on Flex, you can use that money in that account?
Well, Flex, they're not doing instant deposits yet. They're not doing it like the Dash or Direct card to where once you end your shift, it goes right there. Because, with Amazon, I think they have like 24 hours, like Whole Foods and stuff, to tip you.
Right.
And so they don't allow that. But it does say that your weekly deposit from Amazon Flex can go to that card.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I don't want to jump. I mean, I'm sorry. I want to jump back
ahead.
in with the TV thing real quick. I just went on Walmart because Gary said something crazy like $400 for a big screen TV. I'm looking right now. I can get a 65 LG TV 4K for $398. I can literally buy like
That's
4 of them.
crazy.
That's what I was thinking.
TVs are cheap, and then
you can have your own theater by the end of it.
TVs are stocking stuffers.
Who's putting these TVs? Is this what country are they putting these TVs together? This is way too. This is crazy.
So you remember when you could get like a 45-inch with a big back on it and everything? They were
and they weighed like $800. The price was whatever it weighed. If it was $800, it weighed 800 pounds. You needed 4 people to bring it in.
Well, back then,
carry it with one hand, a 65-inch in.
Oh yeah.
But even back then, like you had to actually have an entertainment unit so it would actually house it because it was so massive.
Yeah.
Right.
Damn.
So Thomas, I don't.
Told you, Hannibal, they're like cheap.
Amazon
Yeah.
never gave you free. You mean to Grubhub? Because they never.
Yeah,
you
you
have to pay
still-
for Prime.
Well, if you have Amazon Prime, you still get the free year of Grubhub Plus.
Right, but I'm wondering if because I didn't see anything prior. Is he talking about just Amazon?
I'm assuming he's.
I'm assuming he's talking about the Grubhub Amazon.
That's the only thing that guy can come to mind. It's kind of random.
Yeah. I mean, I think you can do it anytime up until it's over, right? I mean, as far as I know, you could start. You could start it in February next year.
Yeah, he said Grubhub Plus. Okay.
Yeah. What is this now?
Yeah, they might pay twice a week. I haven't actually done Amazon in like a couple years, so they could pay twice as well. I don't know. It just says that your weekly deposits will go to that card if you choose to use that card. That's all it says.
So, okay, moving on from that, I need to, we don't talk about a lot of these stories. I used to put a ton of these stories up on the website about drivers that get hurt, killed, passengers that get attacked, all that stuff. But then I was just like, I don't, even though it would have been nice to have had an archive of that kind of stuff, it's kind of like if I really needed the archive database of that stuff, I could just, because I'm in touch with him, I could just contact the professor and just Rideshare from the professor and just say, dude, give me the database of everybody that's been hurt. He kind of has it. And but Kim has a story tonight that I really am excited to talk about. I want her to get into it, but I have another problem with this story to begin with. So
I have kind of several problems with this story, but I'll kind of get into it. So there was an article this week that a 17-year-old girl got into a Lyft, and I'm not going to go into, the very specifics of it, but the driver itself was asking like really inappropriate questions, like if I was younger I would date you, like that type of thing. And then she smelled smoke in the car, like he was like smoking a cigarette, and he sprayed something she thought to get rid of the smell, and then she started getting lightheaded and almost felt like she was gonna faint. So she felt really uncomfortable and unsafe, and she literally opened the car because he refused to pull over, and like literally jumped from the moving car and got injured by jumping from the moving car because she didn't want to be in that situation any longer. So she obviously reported everything. She reported to the cops. She reported it to Uber. The only thing Uber said is, yeah, we deactivated the person. But the girl's stance was like, great, thanks for deactivating them. But if this person really is, attacking women, then he's still going to keep doing it regardless if he's an Uber driver or not. So that was kind of the whole basis of the whole article. My thing is, and I don't do rideshare, so I can be completely off base on this, but I was under the impression that you can take a Lyft unless you're 18 years old or older.
That was my biggest issue with this.
Not supposed to.
And a 17-year-old.
Not only not supposed to, your insurance nor Lyft covers you if you do.
So if you're a person under 18, can you actually even sign up on the app, or does somebody have to get the ride for you?
What do you mean?
Like if I'm under it.
First of all, dude, I used to have this problem all the time, and I've talked about it on the audio podcast a lot, because I used to go the high schools. I'd get tons of requests, and there's a big high school here near my house that it's about 1,000 per grade, so it's about a 4,000 student high school, and I would get them, and then there's 2 police cars parked outside of it. Every day after school, I'd go park right behind them. I have a dash cam that's on my rear view, and I'd turn one of the cameras towards the window, lock the doors, because everything, and I would just have fun with them. Kind of like I could have just left the area, but instead I would just let them accept, and I heard everything, and I got them all on video and everything saying, no, it's my parents' app, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I don't care.
Okay, that's how they do it, using the parents' app. Okay.
Well, they go get a Uber card from Walmart and create there's so many ways around.
There's nothing that makes you really verify that.
That's what I was trying to figure out, how they actually do it. Yeah,
they are making changes. You have to have a real name now. and you have to use a picture of yourself.
Yeah, I guess my other thing is like I was thinking like, well, the driver was wrong for getting a minor into the car, but I'm thinking if he was really out to harm somebody, did he really care if she was a minor or not? He was gonna harm her regardless of whether she was a minor or not. So kind of moot point at that point. But
but here's the problem though. If you pick up an unaccompanied minor, so if you pick up anybody under 18 years old on their own account, on their parents' account, however you do it, if you pick up an unaccompanied minor and you put them in your car on Uber or Lyft, that very second, you're an independent contractor. Uber and Lyft are no longer any part of that ride. If you get in an accident, anything happens, they don't have your back, and your insurance, even the commercial grade ones, don't have your back. So if you were to get into an accident, let's say, and sadly the kid died, and I remember a few of these happening, and the kid died, you would get sued for what, $10 million, and you're an Uber driver. You now just lost your entire life over a ride.
Okay, so I'm a rideshare driver. If someone gets into my car, am I supposed to verify this person? It's all a normal procedure, but if they look young, then I ask for an ID. Like, what
that's what I mean,
do if someone looks young,
Yeah, coming from the bar, that's what I did, man. If same thing as at the bar, even if I have a door guy carting people, and I'm like, this person isn't 21. How'd they get through? Because sometimes they sneak in the back door. Somebody opens a exit
some
door.
Some security don't even care enough to read it properly. But
but so I mean, it is, again, remember, this isn't Uber saying, hey, this is a good ride, take it. This is Uber saying, hey, you have a request. If you take it, you're an independent contractor. It's on you. Right. And all insurance companies will walk away. So if anything happens in it, and I mean, like, I saw just about all of it. I thought that after the pandemic, it wouldn't come back because it was dying off, but now it seems to be coming back a bit. And I got to tell you guys that, like, there's been sexual allegations that might or might not have been true. But can you imagine that? Like, what if somebody says you touched them and you don't have a dash cam and they're a minor? Do you know that right away your word doesn't mean anything, really?
Well, the funny thing is, I was actually thinking about the article. Like, this article is really only telling, not that I think that the driver did or didn't, but it's all like the girl's
one side of the story.
One side of the story. What happens if that really didn't happen, and now this poor driver got deactivated, but he still did wrong by getting a minor in the car? But like, there should be like things to protect the driver and the passenger.
Isn't it they're going to start with some places the recording audio and video?
That's all. That's optional though. That's optional.
Right. But and Gary and I were talking about this. But the weird thing is that it's optional for the passenger and the driver.
Right.
Would you do it, Steve, Gary?
What?
Like, if you guys were doing rideshare,
I would let them.
I have my dash cam going, so I don't need to. To be honest,
I don't need to. But as a driver, I would not let them do visual, because that's tying up my camera and going to heat up my phone, things like that. Audio, sure, they can do audio.
See, I don't even know if I'd let them do audio, because you can't, you know what? They could have done this a long time ago. They tried to roll it out before. I feel like it's just something that they're going to use as like revenue targeting or ad targeting and things like that. Because here's the deal, man. Also, like, what if something does happen? I want my dash cam footage. I don't want Uber's. I don't want to request an audio recording from Uber and it comes all Ubered up and it doesn't work.
Right. Well, Uber would own that recording, yeah. So then, yeah.
Well, I'm saying if I didn't have a dash cam, if I didn't have a dash cam, or I was in a state, is what I'm saying, that did not allow one-party recordings. Because if you have a state that has a two-party recording, everybody gets in your car has to consent to that recording, and if they don't, you cannot record them.
Right.
And so, but with Uber doing it, that is Uber getting consent from those passengers before they get in your vehicle, not you.
Right. So, but I mean, like, if anything happened, I don't care who gave consent. I'm not putting it on YouTube. I just have proof.
Right. No, you know me. I'm a big advocate for, if you're going to do rideshare, get dash cams. In fact, whenever I did rideshare, I actually had 3 dash cams.
I have 2. And Gary knows I got my
one in the
one.
front, I had one in the back, and then one that captured the whole passenger seat.
So I have my one. It's super old. Gary, I showed it to him. He hates it.
Yeah,
it's the kind that clamps on your mirror. I like it. It clamps on your mirror, and then it has 2 cameras on it, so it looks like the rear view mirror. So, and then you've got a front and back going, and it records to an SD card. So it's one of those ones where if you grabbed it and ran, I don't have a copy of it. So that's running. But I also have, and this is where I'll give a plug to Display Ride, because they just let me have one for free to test it. I have Display Ride running, and that's uploaded to the cloud in real time. So
now back to the story though, Kim. See, I was on point with you too. I was like, whenever you first brought it up, I was like, wait, it's one-sided story here. Mm-hmm. But then as I'm reading down it here, the driver turned around and pretended to be a bystander.
Yeah, it's just weird.
That's kind of like, that's off to me, because if I was the driver and somebody jumped out of my car,
I'd be like, peace.
Well, no, I wouldn't be like, peace. I'm going to stop and I'm going to call the police for sure, but I'm not going to act like I'm a bystander.
Wait, what happened?
Like,
I don't know.
yeah, I'm like, I'm driving and
he's already displaying guilty behavior. Yeah,
exactly.
Like,
like,
something he did.
I mean, that's no different than if he would have just canceled the ride and kept driving. I mean, to me.
Right.
So I don't know. There's more to this story, I think, though.
There is.
Bottom line is, though, and I hate that somebody did this. My guess is, here's my guess, is it was Ozium.
Ozium spray, yeah.
Yeah, because that probably made her feel extremely nasty, because the way that comes out and then it, like, implodes in your car.
It's supposed to get away from. It's supposed to get cigarette smoke out of your car.
Right, but the way it comes out, like if you're in, I don't know. I view Ozium as something to spray in the car and then get out of the car.
It can be very strong. Yeah.
Sure. The way it comes out of the bottle is very harsh. So I'm guessing it was that he was trying to cover up the cigarette smell, whatever. It sounds like it might have been sketchy or whatnot, but to begin with, it was sketchy because he picked up a minor, I guess. And I'm always surprised how many rideshare drivers pick up minors. It amazes me how many do this and come to me and even say, I still get people all the time that say, well, I didn't know you couldn't do that. All the time I get this. And I'm like, are you kidding? How do you not know this? How do you not? I mean, I know that none of us read the TOS except for Gary, and we all count on him to tell us what it says. But I mean, know that you can't take minors. If
the next
you've been
TOS
delivering
update,
food,
I'm putting that in bold.
No, the other thing I was actually thinking about this article too is if a driver wanted to do something, Uber has his real identity. Like, they can easily find this driver if he was trying. Like, why would you do something like that if everybody has your name, address, like, and you can be found and charges can be brought against you? You know what I'm saying?
People who have that kind, people who are engaged in that kind of behavior do not care at the time about repercussions. They don't, obviously, because there've been a lot of stories about Uber drivers doing this. And I always bring this up, but female friends of mine who have taken Ubers, a lot of them are getting hit on by older men, probably married. So when it comes to it, especially predatory behavior, they don't care about the repercussions until they get caught, and then they're trying to get. That's why he pretended to be a bystander. So a lot of these people are just the way they are, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't. Gary and I are the only two who do rideshare in here.
Yes.
Okay, so you guys aren't probably familiar with this. So just like all of these apps, they can't tell us anything. They can't tell us how to work. They can't train us. And they can't show us things on this stuff. But here's my thing: why can't they show us a video on not picking up minors? And here's why I say that: because Gary, I'm sure you're aware. I've had to do it 2 or 3 times. You have to go through watching these rain videos.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes
you do.
Okay, so if you have to watch a rain video, why can't you have to watch a video about not picking up minors before you can go any farther?
But even Uber Eats people had to watch those rain videos. I know I had to watch them.
Okay, but I'm pointing out for rideshare. Okay, so if you're making us watch rain, why shouldn't? Because rain is about protection from not. Hey, don't don't be crossing lines, don't be touching people, don't be
Don't
keep your hands to yourself. Like, okay,
Don't
which
be
I all
yeah.
agree with, but it seems equally as important that you know not to pick up kids.
Now, do they have? I think if they did that, they
Well-
definitely formalize it. But I think they would also. I feel like maybe there's some liability that if they don't say it straight up, maybe they can slip out of things.
I agree with John. I think if they put something to say how to do it and then somehow it still doesn't work, then they get in trouble while they just not say anything. And if something goes wrong with the Uber driver, like you said, that person's on their own. They're not liable. That's what I'm thinking. Like they don't want to put that training out there because it is somewhat of a skill to look at IDs, and whatever you look at an ID is fake, but you don't know because you didn't have proper training to know that. I think Uber doesn't want to accept responsibility.
I'm going to go the opposite way and just say Uber doesn't care and they want you to pick up passengers and drop them off. They don't care who they are.
I was going to actually say
right,
the
yeah.
same thing.
Actually,
That's a good point.
Gary, that's a good point. To be honest,
Yeah, I was actually
they
going to
would-
say.
go
Sorry.
ahead, Kim.
No,
go
I was
ahead.
going to say the same thing almost as Gary. Like, they're getting money out of the ride. So kind of like blind eye, like, I'm getting this money, I'm getting this money, I'm getting this money. Well, if a driver gets a minor, then okay, it's on the driver. It's not on Uber, but we're still getting the money.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's so Uber. It's like, okay, we're gonna just bum rush this situation without okay, how about we make things as efficient and safe as possible? Let's bum rush it. Yeah, there'll be some bad stories here and there, but we're gonna get all the rides as much as possible, make as much money as possible. Like, how about we cut these split end issues, right? Like, drivers should know not to take in a minor. Let's not have 17-year-olds jumping out of cars. They shouldn't have been in the car in the first place. But Uber is like, nope, just keep going full steam ahead. Like, it's typical of Uber.
Even with this article, there's probably no disclaimer from Uber about, well, we did an investigation and we shouldn't have picked up the minor. It just said we deactivated the driver.
Yeah, he's out.
Well, but
That's
You
enough.
have to get another driver next time. Don't do it again. Just get a different driver next time.
So here's the thing, though, about what Gary said is that I think that's right. They would love it if, in a perfect Uber world, they would love it if you actually are taking minors if it's under their parents' account, because they don't want to piss the parents off. What if parents have gotten in this bad? Because for a while, parents were getting in habits where, like, even kids they'd get on the phone, call their parents, say, this driver won't take me when I'd be there. And the parent would call me and say, why aren't you picking them up? And I'm like, because it's not allowed. It's against the terms of service that you agreed to. And I can't. They're a minor. And so, I think in a perfect world, they don't want to deal with that. But at the same time, then why are they? Here's the thing. Then don't put out rain videos either.
Well, I was going to actually touch on that because JP's Gig Corner is over here typing a whole bunch of stuff that they're legally allowed to provide training. They can provide it. They cannot force training on you. There's a difference. They can force employees. They cannot force a contractor. The only thing they can do on a contractor is demonstrate its value to you. So whenever you have to complete stuff in their app, that's towards their app, not how to do the job.
Right. But like the rain videos, they could just have it be, watch
Right.
these 2 videos on not picking up minors so you don't ruin your life.
No, but I think from an Uber perspective, like they're saying, what we know about Uber's history and about, them being about the money, there's probably a number associated with minor rides, 1 billion or however many hundreds of millions account for rides between people for ages 14 and 18. And to say all of a sudden discourage that, their financials, that's going to be an impact to them, and that's what they care about.
Makes sense. I'm assuming this happens every day, right? Right? Hundreds of rides a day.
Oh,
It used to happen
Teenagers.
all the time. It died off.
absolutely.
When the pandemic hit, it was dying off prior, and I thought maybe it won't come back. Now it seems to be coming back just like it was. So it's like, you guys just don't pick them up for real. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you.
Yeah, there's no law that
do it.
says there's no law that says you can't ask them for ID. None.
And
None
there's no
whatsoever.
law that says, if you, like Hannibal said, like, what if you even then question the idea? Just cancel the ride. When in doubt, cancel. It doesn't matter.
Right.
Say, I'll cancel. It's not going to cost you anything. I always got them to cancel because even though I wasn't a person to collect $5, I hated kids trying to work me out of a
Take your
ride,
work.
like think they'll get me. Like, nah, dude, I'm going to talk you into this. I was like, go for it, man. They didn't know, but I had the camera turned. I'm recording. I'm like, no, I'm still not going to do it. Nope.
Wait, did you ever
They
do
think
that?
they're so
Okay.
smart.
Did you ever do this, Steve? You're like, okay, I'll cancel. And then you just like pull around the corner because the timer has already started.
No, because I was sitting, I always sat right behind 2 police cars. The cops were in the cars. I mean, are you really going to cause a scene right there?
Yeah, some people might.
Some people might.
If you do, I'll just be like, excuse me, officer. This guy needs to go.
Yeah, some JP said this in North Carolina. It's illegal to pick up minors. Some states it's illegal to. You know, and that's why none of the rideshare companies say to pick up minors. None of them advocate to pick up. They're all their terms of service. They don't do it, but drivers. I don't know. For me, a $3, $4, $5 ride is not worth it.
Yeah, gotta protect yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. They do. Lisa, I think I remember like they always said that they would, but whenever I canceled and put reason minor or whatever, I never got
I never got I never did either.
I don't think I would. Would it be a full pay?
No, well, I mean, don't
Like
have full pay.
I guess a partial, a fee. What do you call it? A cancellation fee?
Well, you were supposed to get $5, but like I always had to call in and get an agent.
JP, I've had this same thing happen to me before. I can't stand it. Drives me nuts. I'm like, you are the worst parents ever. Like, instead, why don't I call social services? Because you don't know what you're doing.
Oh, it's great because they get mad at you too. They get mad. Like the parents are like, "Well, I got to go to work." I'm like, "Well, then drop them off on your way to work."
I say, well, then you better get your kid to work. I mean, to school.
One of y'all apparently didn't wake up on time. Don't put it on me.
Right? They come out in their pajamas, hand you 3 elementary kids, and can I take them to Mexico and sell them? Yeah.
Oh, I've actually had a mom.
What is wrong with people? Seriously.
I've actually had a mom walk out, place her kids in the car, say, "I'll be back," close the door, and then walk inside. And then the kid's phone goes ding, and the kid looks down and goes, "Oh, my mom said we can go. She'll catch another one." I'm like, "No, Mom, get the hell out of my car."
Yeah, JP said the same thing we did, Gary, that he never got a fee either. And I think I saw somebody else did too. I don't know. I just had seen it somewhere else too, that somebody else was.
Yeah, the only way I got the fee is if I actually got someone from support on the phone. That's the only way I ever got it.
Right. Or if you just got them to cancel. I always
or
made
got them to
them
cancel.
I just sat there, dude. And stared at them. I almost was trying to like do the world a favor. I felt like, like I'd actually take it as a break.
Even Lisa says here, you have to call Uber. So you do have to call.
Yeah. But I don't want to call. I want that kid to understand and to not do it and to know that, some kids just said, I'll cancel and I'll just order another car.
Yeah, another one will come through.
Right. But usually it would be me because I'm right there and I'd accept it again.
And this is why I don't do rideshare.
Steve's over there just collecting $5 from back to back from the same kid.
Especially if they were like, I don't care, I'll just cancel and get a new one. Okay. And they're like, bing, and I'm like right there.
I'm the closest driver. I'm the best driver for this job. It's going to keep offering it to me. Exactly.
And some parents are really cavalier with like, oh, my kid will be fine into some stranger's car, just because they're Uber driver. Like that's alien to me. But
it's like the Super Trooper scene. Like in the beginning when they're pulling them over twice, and the second time they're like, license and registration, we just gave it to you.
I don't want to feel like a helicopter parent, but that's too extreme, right? Like, okay, I understand that you could allow them to have some freedom, but that's a little bit too much, right? Elementary school, like, come on.
That's
a teenager is a little bit more of a
ridiculous.
conversation,
but like elementary, no.
Yeah, it's not. No.
Yeah, I don't know. I always was very careful. I always rideshare is a lot different than food and all the others because you got to remember to cancel anything that makes you feel weird. Cancel.
Yeah.
You don't worry about money. You don't worry about any of that. Anything feels weird, you just leave.
Yeah. If you're a driver, make sure they're over age. If you're a passenger, check license plates.
Yep.
Definitely.
So I am all for though this Uber change that's going to be picture and real name, because that should cut down on underage a lot, because a lot of it is parents letting their kids use the app.
Yeah, but here's the thing about the pictures though. I mean, Lyft had pictures for a very, very long time, and I see this picture. Okay, this is how I'm picking it up, and then somebody completely different come up, and be like, "Oh yeah, Tony." Like, it's a girl, man.
Right.
Like, so I mean, are they like they should enforce that more? I think, like the pictures,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it has to be a picture of you, not somebody else's account that you're using.
Just remember,
if you're
in
booking one
the
for a
end, guys,
friend.
it's all on you. In Rideshare, it's all on you.
I actually have a rideshare question for you, and I know they talked about this maybe a year ago, but I didn't do rideshare. I didn't pay too attention. Do they still do facial recognition for customers as well as drivers, or did that go away, or did that never happen?
No, well, it doesn't work.
Okay.
Like in the UK, they did facial recognition, and they were using the Microsoft facial recognition software, and it was like 65 or 70% accurate because it couldn't get foreigners, women, people of color.
Well, I know when I had Uber Eats, I think there's a short made
I was gonna say, I just did
Uber
facial
Eats trying to do a
recognition.
face and it didn't recognize. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, until it really, it's like autonomous. Until it works, don't use it. Don't even have it. I mean, like I think I've shown some of you, I believe. If not, I'll bring it on next week and show it to everybody. But I mean, I put duct tape over my mouth when it was during the pandemic, saying to, pull over and take your picture because you have to do this. Hey, thanks, Jerry. Appreciate that. But when it would say pull over, well, I would just be at my house sometimes, turn it on, and if it was like, hey, make sure it's you, show us you had to put the two eyeballs in the face to show it's you as the driver. I'd put duct tape over my mouth and bulge my eyes out, like as if I'm saying help.
Yeah, nobody.
And they'd be like, "You're good," because it was to make sure I had a mask on. Right. But I'm talking about duct tape.
I tell you, at night, impossible. I would have to it wouldn't work. It would not work. I would have to go to the brightest area possible, and sometimes either like in front of a building. Yeah,
I mean, in the daytime, let's put my head out the window at that thing.
Everybody has to at the night.
Because especially like me and John, we got chocolate complexion, so it just doesn't work. Like I'm just like,
yeah.
I'm like, okay, you know what? I want to work today.
I mean, I think the duct tape is kind of my point, though. It proves that they're just looking to see that they can't see lips. Because if they couldn't see lips, then you had a mask on in their book. You could hang a sock from your mouth.
Yeah, sometimes I pull my shirt up. Sometimes that worked as a mask.
When the pandemic first started, that's what people had. Socks.
You could put Whoa, thanks, Flex. You man. Appreciate that.
Hey, before we move on though, we're 48 minutes in. We need to do a
I just pulled it up. Yeah. So what's the word?
Safe. SAFE.
That works.
Yeah. And I don't think and case sensitive doesn't matter, right?
No, it should
okay,
not.
So just hashtag safe, guys. Put it in there.
SAFE.
Yep. This is for the $25 win tonight, which also puts you in for next week. And next week will be the big 100 one. Yeah, Thomas just did it right. So do it just like this.
Yep. Hashtag safe.
Yep. And we're gonna do that drawing right after John. And so you guys keep getting them in there. I'm gonna let John do this story on Uber Eats.
I think it makes sense to keep continuing on Uber. I found out it was interesting. Uber Eats is the most disliked food delivery service.
Well, that's a good segue.
Interesting story because they did it. I forgot where the poll was, but it was about Uber Eats, and they asked, on a couple different metrics. I think it was like wait time, about the food, and the reason, speaking of wait time, that Uber Eats was the most disliked delivery service is because they were basically always late. So it was interesting because in addition to being the most disliked, they did have some, things on the opposite side of the scale where they were very liked. So Uber Eats, it was basically showing that a very high variance. You can have either cold food, a late driver. The other thing that I found interesting Uber Eats had the most reports of drivers who ate the customer's food. Uber Eats is just winning all around.
I tell you, if you want to use in many places when you apply for Uber Eats, you get in like 2 days. Like they just like go, hey, you're a driver now. Like Uber is just flood the market with Uber Eats drivers. I'm wondering that's a problem. Obviously, you can't just bring everybody to do this,
right?
Now, see, I find Uber Eats wait times one of the best, not the worst, which I think is interesting. But I feel like sometimes they don't have enough drivers and customers wait longer for their food. So I get the whole cold food thing.
Well,
for me, DoorDash is faster than
Thank
Uber
you,
Eats.
Thomas.
I think Uber Eats is slower.
I agree with that.
In my experience, yeah.
Uber Eats is, you say slower?
Yeah.
Uber Eats
DoorDash
from like
is
a
faster.
customer.
Well, yeah, customer's perspective, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's because Uber Eats has the best routing system. You know that, right?
No.
Like
what do you mean?
Unless you pay for priority order, like when you order through your Uber Eats, Uber is very good at stacking their orders.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you're not paying priority and someone else is, that other person is going to get their order before you. But like I've never had Uber Eats send me one for like here and then one 5 miles away, like DoorDash.
No, you're right.
No,
you're right
it's all within like 1.5 miles of my current pickup, my current drop off.
Right.
I do give that to Uber Eats. I noticed like I'll get I think it's only on Uber Eats that I'll see a stacked order that'll end up being $20+. That's one thing I don't see on DoorDash in my area.
What, the $20+? Well,
for a stacked order,
yeah. I mean, it's everything's going to vary by area too. And I couldn't read the articles because it's locked behind the paywall there.
Yeah, I didn't see it either.
Yeah, but
that's what I had access to it earlier, and I was trying to pull it back up. Anyways,
see, for me, well, you guys know Grubhub's my favorite customer and delivery side. Yeah, customer and delivery side. Yeah, you guys, you know.
He must got stock in Grubhub.
Yeah. They keep going lower. He keeps buying more.
No. I did have stock in them, and then once they sold out, I sold all my stock and made my money. Smart.
So you don't believe in them fully, then?
No, I just knew that they would eventually, since they're a European company, I knew that they'd eventually pull out of the U.S. market. So, but Uber Eats is actually, as a driver and a customer, is my second go-to. DoorDash is my very last platform. And
as a customer.
As a customer. And I think it's more of a transparency thing. Since I am a driver, I like the drivers to know that they're getting valued by my tips. Yeah. And so, I always do Grubhub because they're 100% transparent. Wherever you pay is what the driver's going to see. Uber, on the other hand, certain markets see full payouts. Other ones only see up to a certain point. DoorDash, though, I can tip $40 on DoorDash. You're going to see $6.25.
Yeah.
So, awesome. Then my order is going to get tossed around and blah, blah, blah. And no, I want my order quick and fast and hot. So,
are you guys surprised that Uber Eats is the most disliked?
Yeah. I actually am. Yes.
I thought it'd be DoorDash.
Honestly, I am too, because
I thought it was going to be Grubhub. Sorry, Harry.
Here's the same kind of thing that on the Long Island Dash experience thing on Tuesday, we had a lot of people in there. There was over 100. There was about 130 to 160, pretty much through the whole thing, and lots of questions. But when they asked me to give them one question, I said, okay. So I gave them, if between now and the end of the year, and they were talking up the apps they like. Uber Eats wasn't even mentioned. Even though they work it, that wasn't in their favorites at all. But I said, if you could only have one app now through the end of this year, and that's it. You have to pick one right now, and no matter how it goes, that's what you're stuck with. Which would you take? And Lou and Mary said Uber Eats. Which I was
never
like,
had
really?
any problems as a driver with Uber Eats. It was the first one I ever got into, and it didn't have the drama in terms of getting violations, and Uber it was very easy to use as a driver. So it's interesting on the customer side that there's so many late orders and drivers eating food, but as a driver I liked Uber Eats. I think it's
I will say the one thing about Uber Eats, and the biggest criticism from a driver perspective, is tip baiting. I mean, there's nothing worse than thinking you have a $10 order and then 2 hours later it's a $2 order. Now,
I don't get that a lot, though. I do.
It's rare.
Yeah, it's And I know the areas that's going to do it if it's going to do it. Like we all know our areas. So,
and you have a suspicion too when you see a
Yeah.
$10 single Starbucks drink order. You're like,
Right, yeah,
I
you're
can't
like,
say no
"Oh,
to this,
no,
but
yeah,
like,
yeah."
Do you think there's a customer situation, like the kind of customers that use DoorDash, Uber Eats, or you think it's the same
I
customer
think it's the
group?
same.
I think it's same customer base, just like same driver base.
I think for the
Because
most part, but
I use
customer
all
that
three. Because I use DoorDash, Uber Eats. I use Grubhub every once in a while. But I hate to say I do it based off of promotions.
Yeah,
So
whatever.
Uber Eats is
Smart
giving
way
me
to
a
do it.
promotion, I'll do Uber Eats. My go-to is DoorDash, but I've also done Grubhub because they've sent me promotions too. So a lot of my decisions when ordering as a customer is promotion based.
Well, I think that's most customers. Now, John, on this article, I'm assuming you read it. Did it say how many people were polled?
I don't remember if I recall the sample size, and they did mention it was through, I want to say either through Twitter or through some social media site, but I don't recall. No, I
Okay.
don't recall.
You guys
Well,
don't be going nowhere because I don't know if we mentioned you have to be here for the drawing.
Yeah. Type hashtag SAFE, SAFE, if you have not already typed it in the chat. Make sure you can do that because we're going to get to that right after this segment here.
But it would be interesting to see how many did pull, because I think I did an article a couple weeks ago, and it was like 5 people were pulled, and that's what they were basing their article off of. So
that's what I was wondering. Do you think Uber Eats is the most hated because they're technically the biggest?
That's a good perspective, because I think that they
DoorDash
had the worst,
biggest
but they also
here.
had some of the best. I would say from a customer's perspective, the one thing that comes to mind is that I can think of times where I felt my Uber Eats was slow. But I think in most markets, DoorDash has the most drivers, and so that kind of makes them quicker too from a customer's perspective as well. Whereas I know
Uber Eats is worldwide, though. Uber Eats is worldwide.
That's true.
DoorDash is U.S., Canada, Australia.
Mm-hmm.
From a driver's perspective, I think Uber Eats has some of the best orders and some of the worst paying orders as well. When you get $1.50 add-on, but yet on the next order you get like a $32 stacked order. So it's like I feel like they're all over the place as far as their orders are concerned. So I feel like they have the best and also the worst at the same time.
Yep.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
So, I got one last thing that we'll talk about after we do the drawing. That's short, and then we'll wrap it up. But hashtag safe, guys. I'm going to it. I'm going to do it. I think
hashtag SAFE.
I don't know why we've had to spell safe so many times. I think they know.
Because you never know.
You're going to see a hashtag SFAE in there somewhere.
Hey, you never know, man. You never know.
Okay, so right now it's showing 10, you guys.
Yeah, we got 21 people. Some people ain't putting it in there.
And Chris, I just saw you come in. Put in hashtag safe.
As long as you have not won previously, you can type in hashtag safe.
Yes. Oh, yeah. And I haven't seen any, but John did it.
Spell it.
Oh, he did it wrong.
Look at this. Look at this.
Now you're gonna
He's
confuse
such a
it.
jokester.
No, do not type it like that.
Yeah.
Type it like Kelly. Kelly's right. Kelly is right.
Can you help me again one more time?
Where'd it go? It's slow. There it is. So yeah, it says 10. I don't know if when I do it, it'll draw more because I think I saw a couple other people do it. But if only 10 are there,
get it in.
It is what it is.
It is what it is, guys. I'm doing it.
It is what it is.
And I count fast, so I'm gonna do it. 3, 2, 1. Drawing. And no fix. I got my hands in the air.
Mr. Flex.
Flex.
See, that's karma right there.
There
He
you go.
typed in safe like 2 times in a row. Maybe that was the way that I broke it in.
Nice job, Flex.
Good job, Flex.
No, Flex. If you weren't with us in the beginning, I think you already know, maybe from past weeks, but you're also now in on next week's drawing with the other 4 winners, you and next week's winner, a total of 6 winners, will be in for a drawing of 100. Only 6 of you, so you got to be here, but you are in that drawing too. So make sure you are here next week. You must be present to win. Well, next week you must be present to win next week, and you must be present to win the big one. So don't forget to be here, especially if you've won. Don't forget to be here.
And Flex, I just sent you a text message as well, so you can check it for how to get paid.
See, that was a perfect. You're right, John. That was a perfect karma. That was karma showing through. Yeah, things happen the way that they should. So when Gary was speaking of DoorDash, I don't know if you guys have seen this. These wing drones. Have you seen them? Because they're pretty intense, expensive drones, man. I've been waiting to shoot these down for a while.
They're big, right? Like they look huge.
They're big, and like, and
well, they look huge. I don't think
some of the launching
huge,
spots are launching like no. Dude, you got to see it. I'll send you a picture after, because you got to see the where they all take off from. They're big, dude. They're taking off from like these landing pads, like helicopter landing pads, not like 1 per, but like 4 per, and they're big.
Is this another anti-robot story?
Yeah, you bashing autonomous again?
Are you bashing?
No, I love that they're putting targets up there for us. I love it. I wish it came here to the United States. I wish it wasn't just in Australia.
You know what? I'm actually in the Australian group for DoorDash.
Of course you are.
Of course I am.
Just
it seems like, you know,
I have a lot of Australian users too.
Right. Here's what I think though. It makes sense over there to try this. Maybe it's a little bit different over there. You are delivering to some places where drivers like
they're all complaining.
Far out.
They're all complaining about this.
Yeah, I'm sure anybody would, but I'm saying if you're gonna test it, you know, because what if you don't live in Melbourne or one of the cities, you're in the outback,
right?
And then
why you sound like that?
Well,
because I don't know, man. Yeah, I want to go.
It said that it's only about a 15-minute wait for these drones to complete your delivery.
That's not bad.
That isn't
but
bad.
here's the downside. How much food have you guys picked up that weighs less than 2.5
That's
pounds?
what I was just gonna say, man. It
Definitely
travels
not
at a
Chinese
speed of
food.
70 miles
Yeah,
per
it's
hour.
not Chinese. That's for damn sure.
And it also goes at 70 miles an hour. And like Australia has some of the biggest mosquitoes in the world. Wouldn't that bag just be coated? I know it's in it looks like it's in some kind of plastic thing. I don't know if you guys can pull up the
that's some imagery right there.
It's extra protein.
Oh, Cam.
I feel like they eat that in Australia, though. I don't know.
So that's the bag on the bottom.
Okay.
Well, that's what I'm
does
wondering.
it look like it's a well crafted? Like it don't look cheap. It looks like the trash
cheap.
cans you could call them. They look cheap.
This looks cheap.
If it does 70 miles an hour and it's carrying food, I would hope.
Well, that's what I'm wondering is what is it going to carry? I have some Australian friends.
What happens to your drinks?
Like they do fish and chips. When was the last
But it
time
can
you
only
got-
do payloads a little under 2.5 pounds. I feel like that's like not even that much. That's maybe a value meal. They gotta.
Yeah,
it's lunch.
Like
nothing too crazy.
Maybe a Happy Meal. Yeah, I mean, you definitely aren't going to get their meat
Not
pies or
You can order
anything
Happy
like
Meal,
that.
but forget the Big Mac.
Right. Yeah. But again, like the 2.5 thing, and like Kim said, the drinks. I think I showed Gary a video of a drone delivery. Gig City or Music City just said parachute it to me. No joke. Gary and I saw one that did drop it on a line. And honestly, when it got to the bottom, there was drinks standing.
That's impressive.
But that was more of like the helicopter drone, not the fly airplane drone.
Not at 70 miles per hour. That seems a little fast. I think just unnecessarily fast.
Yeah,
right.
mean, like,
is it going to stop and hover, and then is it going to line drop?
That's what I'm wondering.
Or is it just going and it's got the trajectory and it drops it? And
it doesn't need to go max speed. Like it says up to, don't necessarily have to go to 70, right?
That's true.
Yeah, but why would they write that unless it is?
Why
would you not
I think
go
maybe
70?
you have to have it be able to go 70 in case somebody tries to chase it.
yeah, like Steve trying to shoot it down, so he needs to fly out of there. Like,
Well, you also need to. You also,
evasive maneuvers.
dude. You also need to be. You also need to be able to get away from Australian birds and things that might smell McDonald's and chase that.
Yeah.
Like, hey man, I'm
in
easily
here?
begging this from the street. Why is this up here?
I mean, I don't want to go into the whole, Australian shtick, but those kangaroos are pretty strong. So hopefully that the drones are high enough where someone can't grab it out of the sky.
Imagine
like,
there's one kangaroo getting into your food. You're not even just like, okay,
No,
you
let them have it.
I'm all for drones and things like that, because I mean, especially if they can get rid of my no-tip orders, that'd be great. But I just think we're very far off from drones as well. Like I've only seen like one drone that actually did it even, and it could carry what would we say up to 20 pounds on that one, Steve?
I think
one
so.
That dropped, I mean,
But that one
weight.
had a legitimate line,
right?
It was
Like
a
that was
cable.
that's probably the only one I've ever seen that's even remotely close to
right. Like wherever
realistic.
it was, it stopped, and the food went right underneath it because of the cable. It didn't even allow it to budge. It just dropped quick, and it had it on a straight line.
Yeah,
but it still did drop it in the dirt.
Yeah.
Is it going to be able to do stacked orders?
No, not at 2.5 pounds.
No,
well, 2 sliders, one apiece.
You need like another engine on top of it. Get some power.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a California city too. If we talked about this too a while back, that's going to be doing this next year too. I can't remember what it is. I think it starts with an O. They're the only city that's going to be doing it, but they're going pretty big with it too. I think they're using the ones we were looking at. Because again, I don't know what this is, and I don't know what the 70 miles an hour. But I'm with Gary, because if they're saying it's 15 minutes, of course they're going to optimize their speed,
right?
Because they're not going to do 10 miles an hour.
No.
I mean, there'd be no point in this unless it's saving time, getting around traffic, all that kind of stuff. But 2.5 pounds, I mean, that wouldn't even make it for some drug deliveries.
That's a lot of drugs. Jeez.
Well, like if Uber, this sounds like an Uber
that,
Connect thing.
You said 2 pounds,
like
right?
Uber Connect.
2.5 pounds.
That's enough, don't you think?
Isn't that like 1 kilo? I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Like, no, but I'm saying
I'm just saying it sounds like an Uber Connect thing. Like how they were using Uber Connect drivers to smuggle drugs.
Hey, I will tell you guys though, at 2.5 pounds, you can have 10 candy bars in there.
That's enough.
Say that in there?
Yeah, 10 candy bars. You're good to go.
Is that enough candy bars, Steve, for you?
How many bags of chips? I feel like that's what it's for. Bags of chips, a lot of popcorn. I feel like if we get creative with
nowadays, these bag of chips have more air than chips, so you should be able to grab a lot of them, right?
Well, the space. What's the dimensions?
See, drone days knows about drones, and he doesn't.
Sense.
That's not just his handle. Yeah. He does know about drones, and so he's making a good point. Birds fly into planes and cause big problems in planes. What can they do to these things?
These things have, was it 12 propellers? That's a lot.
Yeah, but I'm just saying there's some big birds or flocks of birds. And if this thing if they're coming this way and it's doing 70 at them,
I mean, it's probably at an angle.
It's going to look like the Top Gun scenes, Like Gary was saying, evasive maneuvering.
Yeah. Hopefully got some like ability to see bogeys are coming around and they can.
We're gonna be looking up and just see them like it's gonna look like a fighter pilots fighting each other. They're just trying to deliver McDonald's.
That's what they're trying to do.
Right. And dude, the birds will get smart and start following them.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, yeah.
Smart.
I know you don't live near a coastal city, but Kim can probably tell you go down to the beach and yeah, you got birds everywhere.
Everywhere. Seagulls everywhere.
We have birds.
Yeah, but not like the beach, not like a pier. Yeah. Like sometimes if you go sit at outside restaurants, they'll just be right underneath your feet.
Oh, too close.
Yeah. I'd like to see a hawk or an eagle here in Colorado, just with its talons, just grab one, bring it down to me so I can, and then throw it so I can shoot it.
But, this is good time to start training your eagle, Steve.
Yeah, get an eagle training to attack drones.
Put signs of drone free.
I'll start my own delivery service with eagles.
Bring back the
You mean like a
Ravens.
carrier
Pigeon. You can bring back the pigeons.
I think that's been done already, Steve. I don't know.
Well, no,
Eagles, Ravens, and
he's
Pigeons delivery
upgrading.
service.
It sounds like a really bad movie.
Almost sounds like a horror movie.
I know. It's like a really bad B movie.
So this
One night a year when there's no gig workers, it's only
Steve,
Eagles, Ravens, and Pigeons.
We do know a movie director.
yeah, we do. And actually, this would be a good idea. Pelicans mate with a drone, so like cyborg
Oh,
pelicans.
Jesus.
Oh.
Night vision.
Oh my gosh. Sorry, you guys, my voice is going. So I had some other stories, but obviously we'll probably cover some of these tomorrow on the radio show. Which are I'll at least let you guys know in case you're interested, because they're big ones. There's another story out about Colorado gig drivers making an average of just $5.49 an hour study fines. Now, I've seen these out on other areas too. We saw it come out of California and stuff, and these just don't make sense to me. These, I don't know where they get this information from.
So the researchers are from what it says. Looks like a union.
Yeah,
That's
I'm just,
coming up with this,
it's like ridiculous though. It's like, it's not even like it's not $5.49 though, and it's $7.49. It's more like some of us make, even after expenses, $35. So
Yeah.
you're way off. Some people just suck at doing this. No offense. And just complain, or their market sucks or whatever, and they don't move on to other apps and they wonder why it doesn't work. But I don't like these articles, and I can tell you as a gig worker since 2015 in Colorado, that's just not true ever in history. Like,
Yeah.
I know gig workers that don't do that good who make 4 times that much.
You have to find that. You got to find a study and you see exactly where they're.
Yeah, I mean, it's just
Well,
pulling
you
this
know
information
these studies, man. They swing it to their direction that they want
whatever
to
they
go.
want.
Yeah.
The narrative.
Yeah.
The other thing that, and I talked about this a while back on the podcast, Uber, your next in San Francisco, your next Uber ride might be a cab, and this is a whole thing called Flywheel, and it's a whole story about what they're doing, and it's just crazy because that's the whole taxi Uber fight started in San Francisco, and now Uber is going to be dispatching Flywheel, and Flywheel already is like an independent cab system. It's so weird. It's so weird what they're doing, but we'll get into that. Waymo is about to start charging for self-driving taxis in California. That's an interesting story, by the way, you guys.
So just real quick, Steve, on that that same note, Waymo is about to start in Phoenix doing driverless rides to the airport.
Yes.
Hey,
Yes.
Josh or John, you got to go take one.
Yes.
Well, he can't.
I'm not in that preferred rider program.
You have to
be.
you have to sign an NDA. You have to not videotape, and you have to be part of the Waymo program.
Damn.
It's not just something you can sign up for.
I'll get banned for it, but I'll do it.
Yeah. No, we just
Yeah.
we just need to get, we need to find out how does the public get into these? Because right now it's just.
Yeah. That's a good question. Yeah.
I was say, can you talk about it like after you take the ride?
I doubt it.
Every
Every one of them has an
probably not.
NDA. I'm guessing
Yeah.
it. I mean, you can't take pictures
So
or
what are
videos.
they going to do?
I'm sure
Like,
Elon could do it.
Eventually they're going to release them to the public, so that not everybody's going to sign an NDA.
Well,
That's true.
okay, when John, and you might remember this wasn't too long ago when that Waymo got stuck in, because you've already had ones without drivers up front going in Phoenix a little bit. And there was one that got stuck in some cones. And you guys remember this story?
I don't know if I do.
Okay,
Sounds
so
funny.
it was recently. It gets stuck in some cones. There's a guy in the back, and he didn't see, because of the NDA, he might have shot video or taken pictures, but even it couldn't be released. But it got stuck in some cones, and it was trying to figure out how to get out of them. And then there was a light, and then there were like 2 more lights, and as it was like doing back forth, and it just wouldn't stop. It was
It's
just
like the
doing this
biggest
little, like,
Austin
Roomba,
Powers.
like the biggest Roomba just stuck in a
But then the police showed up, and as soon as the police showed up, it gunned it and went through 2 red lights, pulled onto the medium, and stopped.
Oh shit! The cops.
Acting like a real person.
Right,
It was
programmed
It
this
was
thing.
trying to navigate, and as soon as the cops showed up, it ran the cone over. It's like,
Wait, do you think like is like how they try to rehabilitate like people and they like some guys like okay if cops show up run.
What's the color of the car, Steve? What color that car was? So it just bolted like that.
I just love these. I mean, like there was one that I have a video out on one that in San Francisco that does it too. You guys, I know you've seen that. Gary has. I know you guys probably have seen it too. Like, I mean, I even have a 3-minute short video on it where I clipped out from the whole piece where it's just that, and yeah, it's bad. I mean, like there's a cop walks up to the car, and as soon as it does, it guns it through the intersection, and then there's a person videotaping on the street, and you can hear them laughing. They're in San Francisco, and they're laughing because they see this on a nightly basis.
These
cars,
driverless
like
cars
these
running from
autonomous
cops
do not work.
These cars
don't
at
work.
night apparently they get a little tipsy after happy hour.
I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, but this was 2 cops getting out of the car. It approached it, came up to both sides of the window, and when it was there, it took off.
You know what? I bet you thought it saw like 2 dark figures coming at it from both sides, and it was like,
what are you trying to do to me? The LiDAR cut a gun.
Yeah, he's got a gun.
He's got a gun.
But that
I feel like this is some like RoboCop stuff.
Not to get deeply into it, but you would think that they would say, "Hey, what do they do for red and blue lights behind them?" I mean, what if they're just going to keep driving normal if an ambulance is behind them trying to get by?
Oh, that's a good point. Like maybe they're confused and I don't know. Still, but you wouldn't bolt even if there is an ambulance behind you. You wouldn't.
Well,
just,
you do. Well, you do. If you're at a red light and there's an ambulance behind you, you're supposed to run that red light if it's safe.
If it's safe.
But
right.
here's my thing though. So
yeah, because you got to get out the way of the ambulance.
True.
So since they're in beta mode, and as we established, the word beta covers you to do whatever you want. Okay, since they're in beta mode, shouldn't the police have some kind of because the one that I have a video on shows that it ran it and they were trying to contact support for the vehicle and they couldn't get the cops couldn't get the emergency support on the line. It took like 10 minutes to get them on the line. Don't you think these cops should have a kill switch on these things since they're beta?
Yeah.
They should have something on it.
Yeah.
Like something that like within a mile range of that cop car, it kills any autonomous until things are figured out.
Well, I would think that have some type of response to blue and red lights or something.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I wonder what their I want to know what their response is when they have red and blue lights behind them.
Right.
Because like, what are they programmed to do?
Yeah.
Well, apparently they're programmed to run. Yes.
Right.
And so, but I mean, like that's a good question. We should reach out to Waymo.
I bet you they're programmed to drive and delete the hard drive.
Hey,
drop the evidence.
Maybe, John, what you can do is, yes, you signed the contract saying you can't talk about it or film or video, but what happens if you tell your friend that you're taking a Uber or whatever somewhere and they actually travel behind you and video the whole
they
thing?
didn't sign an NDA.
What if I'm FaceTiming what if I'm just happen to be FaceTiming while I'm in there and I keep turning?
Yeah, you can call me, John. I'll screen record it. I didn't sign an NDA.
In case you guys haven't seen it, I just found this is a 3-minute clip. So before we sign off, this is a 3-minute clip on autonomous evading police officers. It was done on a live stream that I was doing for the podcast this summer when I had co-host. So it's Bud Soda on with me. But
wait, you sure it's only 3 minutes?
Yeah, we're not gonna leave anytime soon. Obviously.
Yeah. No. This and then we'll be out, you guys. But everybody seems to want to see it. So I mean, in case you haven't,
and shout out to Bud Soda. I haven't seen him in a while.
Yeah.
I don't know, but his sunglasses arrived to him today.
Okay, cool.
So not his. I got him a new.
Oh, you got your okay.
Just because it was going to cost me more to ship his, and his were wrecked. So I don't know.
Oh, by the way, Waymo, I'm looking at their site. You can actually download their app right now to get on this thing without an NDA.
Yeah, I want Steve to take one too.
So let me.
Steve's gonna get in trouble for re-streaming his own stream.
Well, so I don't know if I guess I'm not getting volume, but here, if you watch, okay, so this is the police officer.
That's Austin, Texas. See ya.
Peace.
Oh no, the light did change to green.
Listen to the people at night drinking and laughing.
Now it's stopping again with hazards on.
And the cop goes after it again.
So maybe it is programmed for the cop.
But I think, but you had a good point, Steve. Like the police,
there's nobody in there. He's like
some level of authority if they're going to be around these driverless cars.
See,
what if
this is why it's going to be a long time before, like food delivery and rideshare will be autonomous.
Because what the audio podcasters aren't seeing is that when the officer approached the car, it took off through an intersection even. So if had there been a kid on a bike, whatever, that kid was going to get mauled. Look at the cops. They're like, there's nobody like carefully accelerate out. It gunned it through that intersection.
They definitely do not want to stop in front of this car.
My only guess is it's thinking someone's trying to steal it, but like I can't distinguish the difference between officer and a criminal. The programming went haywire, basically.
Then it might stop at every security guard, or I mean, again, it's stupid because the LiDAR on top doesn't even operate in snow. It'll stop.
Yeah.
So, you guys get the picture though. So I mean, there's all kinds of these videos out there. They do it all the time. Like they all the time are doing this. Like,
it says right
the
here
cops are having problems with them.
So just read this, as of today, the Waymo self-driving service is now available to the public in downtown Phoenix.
Right, that's why I was telling you can download the app.
There you go.
It says Waymo says its autonomous vehicles can tell if they're being pulled over by police and will stop accordingly.
John, be careful. I don't know how many stories you follow because I do so much of the print news on the website. I've been watching a lot of this in your city. People sit on the overpasses with cinder blocks and drop them on the autonomous cars.
Oh, I have heard about that.
Like, that's a thing. It's not a thing that has been done. People do it all the time. They drop cinder blocks to wreck the autonomous cars. So be careful in them. People hate them. And I would hate them too. They already killed somebody in Maricopa County, and now they're like still running.
John, we really need you to go getting one of these vehicles. And if something happens, we'll have a memorial. Don't worry. But please make sure you live stream in the
wear a construction helmet. How would you stop that from happening?
Get in with like football gear on and a helmet.
Roll the
here's the other problem.
I'm in here. Please don't. As a human being in here.
Here's the other problem. Once they take the driver out of the equation, enter all the new problems: drug use in the car, pissing, puking, nobody to clean it.
No, that sounds.
Don't forget
having sex.
Yeah, don't
hey,
forget
Steve, let's go to Arizona.
Just to ride one.
Rideshare rodeo on location.
Let's go to Arizona. Let's go to Arizona and take one to Colorado.
Road trip.
Yeah, it probably has a city limit.
Yeah. Also like Grand Theft Auto is the thing too.
Yeah, I don't know.
Waymo.
John, you should go test this though.
I do want to test that. No, I didn't realize it was open to the public.
I didn't know it was open
Perfect
to the public
timing.
either.
So just as of today. So yeah, we'll do my research and bring my phone.
I know that coming out of the air.
Listen to this. Absolutely horrifying experience. The car was going in circles, then went the wrong direction.
Where are you reading this on?
The review.
The reviews on the app.
Listen, don't scare off John. He got to try this out.
Well, I will not take a long trip. I'll be like, let's go from point A to 1.5
definitely.
miles.
Don't make
What's the
don't make
cost for that? I wonder what the cost is.
I will not be paying more than $20.
John, you going to tip?
Ooh, if there's a person in there, I'm gonna wait till after. If they're actually doing something, then maybe. If they're sitting there on the smartphone like me,
if there's a person in there, then this is just the same thing that's been happening everywhere.
All right, well, as long as they're not touching the wheel, like, hey, better not see.
No, I'm saying, I think that what Gary's found is a vehicle without a person, because we already know that with a person, that's going on everywhere.
Well, they say
this says that it says self-driving. It doesn't say that there's going to be a person in there.
But watch, as soon as they launch it, it will.
But it says it's in downtown Phoenix in the East Valley in Arizona.
Right, like San Francisco,
I'm not far from
Austin,
downtown Phoenix either. I'm only about
Vegas,
2 miles, 3 miles.
But Austin, Vegas, San Francisco all have autonomous going, but they all have drivers in them, except for that cruise vehicle you saw. But the cruise vehicles don't have passengers. They're just doing the testing. So I don't really understand. Live testing seems really dangerous. But it's funny that when I do see the videos and it's somebody on the street recording it, it's not ever like, oh, look, an autonomous. It's like they've seen them before. They're like, oh, look, there goes another one. Like when it runs a light, they're like laughing at it because of how junk they are. Yeah. So I don't know. Nothing to fear rideshare drivers.
Well,
not going anywhere.
But I mean, how many drivers do we laugh at too?
Good point.
I don't know how many rideshare drivers, when they get pulled over, take off from the cops and don't get a ticket.
Maybe it's a few.
There's a number. I don't know what it is.
There's some really terrible drivers out there.
I sure hope that each incident like that is like a $50,000 fine to cruise to the city.
Well, I'm just saying, like, you're gonna have just as many problems with humans as without humans.
I don't take off from the cops when I'm doing rideshare.
Well, you don't.
I don't think any rideshare drivers do.
Well,
I bet you I can find one right now. Uber.
One. But these guys are like trained to do it.
Trained to run out the cops.
Or their AI is telling them this is what I'm supposed to do. I don't know. But you guys, I'm surprised I've made it this long.
June 13, 2022 was just FYI.
What? There was a person ran one?
In Houston. It actually resulted in a crash, but yes, there was a high-speed chase with Uber driver.
Well, he probably had warrants out or something.
Uber takes everybody.
He was surprised he passed the $12 checker test background. He's like, "What? You're gonna let me do this? I'm a felon." Okay. But yeah. So that's a wrap, guys. Make sure to check out Gary'sApps.com, and if you've won, make sure to be back here next week, because that's going to be one more drawing and then the big one. So if you've won, make sure you're here next week. Be here next week anyway, because we will be taking Thanksgiving off. I have started pulling some clips. I'll tell Hannibal too that anything I have in StreamYard library, I started doing what you said and editing out a piece.
Oh, it's working?
It's super easy, dude.
Nice.
So I can clip, but I don't have them all in there. So,
we'll figure it out.
Yeah, but I mean, I can get a decent amount of things in there. So, but on Thanksgiving we won't be here, but we'll have there will be a show of some bloopers or fun or whatever you want to call it.
Highlights.
Are you gonna do like top 10 moments?
Yeah. Or put them out of order and let everybody vote on it.
Yeah, just
or something. Maybe we'll make it interactive, but yeah, it'll be out there. It'll still drop at the same time. And whatever, you can watch it whenever you want, but it'll be fun.
Brandon, we thank you for showing up even late.
Of course, Brandon.
Team replay.
And glad you got all your stuff fixed tonight, Brandon. I was a little worried there in the beginning. So as always, guys, you can feel free to reach out to me, Steve at ridesharerodeo.com, and you can find everybody's channels here in the show notes, always in there. Make sure you're subscribed and check out everybody's channel.
And don't forget about the radio show tomorrow night. What time is that Eastern? 7 Eastern, tncradio.live.
Yep. And then that's it, guys. We will see you next week. and and I won't be feeling as I'm already feeling a little better, but I'm starting to get worn out. Now I can feel like, okay, I've worn it to the T.
Laughter's the best medicine.
Yeah, it made me feel better. So good night, you guys. We'll see you back here next week. Peace.
Yeah.